Hello everyone, how are we doing? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Fucking hell. Oh man. Oh, I can hear myself, but oh well, to be fair, you can't, so that's fine. Alright. Oh fucking hell. Kind of Where do we even start? So Doctor Who was tonight, everyone. I don't know if you guys knew this, but Doctor Who season 2 concluded today. You probably would be expecting a reaction, um, which you will get. You will get a reaction. Good. I haven't started editing it yet, but you will get it either tomorrow or Monday. Um, but I decided to go live because I kind of want to chat. And I don't even care if nobody even sees us, but because I kind of need a therapy session. After that, I'm struggling a little bit here. Um, I'm just sort of going through my Twitter. My Twitter's kind of blowing up in terms of a lot of people liking the amount of tweets I've done today in the last just 2 hours. Um, it's quite funny. I've not tweeted this much in a long time. It's kind of crazy. God, it's quite baffling, isn't it? What this show has become. If you haven't watched it already and you're clicking on this stream, then I don't know what you're doing. Eh, it's just a bit it'd be crazy to do so. Go and watch the episode or not. I wouldn't recommend it. Spoilers. I don't think it was very good. I thought it was a bit of a mess. Oh, there's a bit of fucking spiderweb on my monitor. Oh god, the quality of the show is affecting my actual desk because this season it was a web of just interconnected bollocks. Okay, so Doctor Who was tonight, and the Reality War, it broadcasted this evening live for the entire world to see, both in the UK and obviously everywhere else on Disney Plus. Um, and to sorry about that. To put it to sum it up in a simple sentence would be a nothing story of that somehow feels like one of the most messy, convoluted, despicable displays of character drama I think the show has ever seen. This episode hinges on almost nothing, yet things it wants you to care about all the same. This story is how do you even describe it? How do you describe the story? You describe the story in just confused bursts of anger and just confusion. I am so confused on why Russell T Davies one let's not forget this, right? Russell T Davies is one of the best British writers living today. He is. He wrote series 1 to 4 of Doctor Who from 2005 to 2008. Generally, some fantastic characters, stories, creatures, just so many great things he made in 2005 to 2008. He has also written some amazing shows that he has created, two of which I have seen in recent years, in the last 5 years, called Years and Years and It's a Sin. Two very, very great shows. Awesome shows. Highly recommend them. I highly recommend you go and watch them. Some really great stuff. He's written some really good stuff. Those two shows, like I mentioned. In terms of just Doctor Who, he's written The Wars of Mars, my favourite story of all time. One of the best things I've ever seen. Absolutely love it. Gridlock. Gridlock's another. Gridlock is fantastic. Great characters, great dialogue, really interesting stories, great political messaging for the time. And even today, it has got some great stuff in it. Midnight. Oh, Midnight. Midnight is great. Midnight's so good. Generally, one of the best horror episodes the show's done in the modern era. Classic Who has a lot as well. That's my second favourite episode of all time, Midnight. Fantastic, I love it. What else has he written? He wrote. I actually literally did a tweet, literally displaying all the episodes that was legit, really great. That was some really great stories. I'm just gonna try to find it because my mind's a bit blank. Let me just find it. Because I know I did it. I know I wrote it. I'm just trying to find that tweet. Oh, here we go. Doomsday. Oh, Doomsday. Here's the thing with Doomsday, right? It's not everyone's cup of tea, right? A lot of people are not fans of the Rose Doctor story. I am. I think it's a great story. I think it's a really well done story. Because it was written in a way that it's extremely believable. With the dialogue and the writing, the characters and the arcs, and every moment of that season especially, that was an earned moment. The beach scene is one of the best scenes of the Russell era. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but I don't think anyone can ever argue that it's unrealistic or not earned, because it has insanely good dialogue and the character work is fantastic from beginning of the show to the end of series 2. With Rose departing. It's quite funny. Rose is going to be a very heavy topic of this stream. He also wrote Parting of the Ways, one of the best finales the show's ever done. He wrote that. He wrote that story, and yes, 20 years ago. A lot can change in 20 years. A lot of mindset can change, a lot of aims can change, a lot of motivation can change. That's all stuff that is in all of us. We'll all age, it will get better or worse or whatever. So I can get that maybe Russell will never reach those heights again, and I am perfectly fine with that. The man has been writing for decades. He's written some great stuff. He's also written a lot of not good stuff. He's not perfect. He's written some howlers before he came back. No one's going to deny that. Love and Monsters, as funny as it is, it's a bit of a mess, isn't it? It's like I don't think anyone's going to argue. Even people who love it, like Connor, my mate, Genesis Vandrazani, he loves Love and Monsters. But I think he would say he gets why people don't like it, why it's flawed. Flawed would definitely be the word, right? I would take 100 Love and Monsters over what we just watched, easily. There's no doubt in my mind. I would take every single Love and Monsters that has interesting ideas, but man is a bit strange at the end. I'd take 100 of those over what we just had tonight. The Reality War is one of my least favourite episodes of any TV show. Not just Doctor Who. It is legitimately abysmal TV, abysmal media, abysmal storytelling. They expect you to care, and the characters to care about a baby that is made up, that is a literal wish and does not exist. Well, here's the thing, she does, because she literally exists in the future. She literally does exist. She does exist. She is a fictional thing based off the character Conrad's imagination. And suddenly she is the entirety and the thing that makes Shooty regenerate. How is that a fitting ending for this Doctor? For this Doctor, for him, for this guy right here. How is that a fitting way to go out? This guy generally didn't feel like he ever got started. He never felt like he ever clicked in terms of having that moment. People will argue on Twitter that he does. That he... Actually, let me close the window, because my door keeps banging. It's a bit annoying. Anyway. He never had a moment like Eccleston. Everybody lives, Rose. Just this once, everybody lives. He doesn't have a moment like that. He doesn't have a moment like the Titanic with Tennant, or the Waters of Mars, where he says the laws of time are mine and they will obey me. Doesn't even have that. He doesn't even have Capaldi's Heaven Sent, or even the speech in Series 9 with the buttons, about, or... Didn't they have to reshoot the ending as she decided? He might have. Tell you what, though, they couldn't have fumbled it more. I am perplexed by how this has all been handled. But ignoring just the ending, ignoring the baffling decision, right? To bring, obviously, spoilers included in this. Billie Piper is back. But the credits don't say she's introduced as the Doctor, so that is key. However, I don't care, because it's what it represents of what this show has become. The show is slop. It's cameo-fested, references, hype moments, slop. It's kind of what Disney wanted with all their other shows. The only show that doesn't do this is Andor. Literally the only show that Disney Plus does at the moment that, well, I say does. It ended like 2 weeks. It ended 2 weeks ago. It's not coming back. It only did 2 seasons. Andor is the only show that doesn't do that. Every other show that I've seen or seen clips of or anything like that are massive slops of just cameo fests to get you excited to keep watching, to give Disney their money or your money. Ignoring all that, this is just what this show has become is clownish. It's a clown show. It doesn't feel real. Yeah, probably not. No, she probably isn't going to be officially the Doctor. But end of the day, she regenerated from Ncuti. Like, there's no getting past that in my mind and probably a lot of people's minds. I don't think anyone can argue that this doesn't feel like a fan fiction. This show doesn't feel like this episode especially felt like it was a fan fiction. And I would argue there would be fan fiction written as a Doctor Who episode that are better than what we saw. I am fully perplexed on what Russell was thinking. I don't get why. Why bring back Billy for like a special or 2 or 3 before you hire an actor to do a job as the Doctor for 2 more seasons or however long you want them to do the show for? Why not just hire someone? Why Billy? I don't get it. I don't get that choice. Because especially coming off what happened with Tennant, as someone who I defend Tennant coming back as 14, because I think that there's interesting things you can do with that, and I don't think he fully clocked into it. I don't think Russell in the potential of what that could have, and a lot of people have a lot of issues with it. And in some regards, I get it. I sort of get it. I don't agree with it, but I can understand that for that perspective. This feels more cartoonish. This feels like a clown show. This feels like a really, really weird choice to do. I don't think there's any justification for me that you can put that will make this okay. And not even talking about the execution, what they could do. There's no way in my mind that can justify this, and even just if it's executed just okay. Nothing. Going back to the episode itself, what actually happened that was of any substance? The Rani got eaten halfway. Wasn't even halfway through the episode. I want to see. When did she get eaten? Literally halfway point. Halfway, like 33 minutes in, she got gobbled up by Omega. And that's it for her. And then Mrs. Flood / Rani just disappears. What the fuck was the point? Why? What was the fucking point of bringing her back? It's so weird. What a waste. What an absolute fucking waste of the actress's time, of our time, of Russell's time. Yet he wrote it. What was the fucking point of any of it? What was the point of the last 2 seasons of build-up with Mrs. Flood? From the church on Ruby Road, it's obviously painfully obvious that she wasn't intended to be the Rani in the first place. And that's just poor planning on Russell's part to suddenly make her the Rani, and have her be a part of this story. They play with the idea of the Doctor wanting Gallifrey to come back or bring back a new Gallifrey. Doesn't go anywhere really. It's fake drama is what it is. It's complete fake drama. Nothing about this feels like an actual story. It feels like I'm watching oohs and ahs and, oh, you recognise this and oh, you recognise that, to get you invested to actually caring. When the reason we care about these things in the first place is because of excellent stories in the past that made us care. The reason we sort of... Here's the thing. I've not watched a lot of Rani's. I've watched the Mark of the Rani. I thought she was pretty decent in that. I remember enjoying her a lot, even if it's not a that good story. Omega is someone who people really like because of what's happened before, because of the stories that they were in before. That's why we like Omega. That's why we like the Rani. That's why we like, other stuff. That's why we like Billie Piper as Rose. Rose is a great character. Not obviously people online. There's a lot of people who don't like Rose. I love Rose. I think Rose is fantastic. I think she's a great character. As you enjoyed this episode more than last week, which could have been halved in this episode, expanding using the other half. Yes, Omega was far too short on screen. I thought this, to put it bluntly. Sorry, can't really talk because I'm very annoyed. I generally think this might be my least favourite finale. I generally think this is worse than The Timeless Children. And I hate The Timeless Children quite a bit. But it's something that Jay just tweeted out not long ago. And they are right. They're right. At least Timeless Children kind of had a structure. This was just going from scene to scene and nothing was happening. You had a bit where Ruby comes and wishes Conrad away to be happy, and then maybe I missed something, and maybe that's on me, but she then got annoyed that he was happy and changed and good. I don't know. It was very strange, man. I don't know what to say. Who are the actual characters in the show? Can you really name who they are as people? Like, who is Ruby? What's her character? She just a good person? That's kind of what you can really say. Belinda. Oh my god, Belinda. You poor soul. What happened? You were so promising. You were kind of promising in episode 1. I didn't care that much. But you had the ending of the first episode where she actually, like, talks to the Doctor in a way that's like, no, I want to go home. I don't want to go on adventures. I want to go home. And then literally straight after that, she's not really a character. She's just sort of there. She just sort of doesn't really ever interact with the Doctor on a significant level. She, in Interstellar Song Contest, she says, "Oh, you're so great, Doctor, even though you tortured that guy. That when I finally was away from you for a bit, you showed your true colours." And I kind of just went along with it. I hugged you and said, "Oh, that's too bad. Sometimes you scare me. It's okay. Let's go home." It's I feel so bad for Shooty, man. Because he's so good. You can tell he's a really good actor. He was brilliant in Sex Education, a show I watched before he came for this. It's just boiling inside me, man. I'm so annoyed. I've gone past the angry phase, and now I'm just annoyed because, oh man, what the fuck is Unit? Unit. When Russell came back, and it was like we were gonna get Unit back, and Kate Stewart was gonna come back. I was like, oh man, she actually might be a character now. She wasn't really a character at all in the previous eras, at all. So maybe Russell, because he's a good character writer, can come in and actually give us something with Kate. Does he fuck? He doesn't. Kate's not a character. What's her name? Shirley? I think Shirley, yeah. She's not really a character either. She's kind of just there. They're just sort of good people. Sure. You have a big muscle hunk guy. He's got less character than all of them. He doesn't really say anything. All those unit characters that stand around and do lots of nothing. Great character work. I know, right? Rose. She doesn't... She just sits around and just says stuff. That's Rose Noble. That's Donna's daughter. And she has nothing to do. She literally wasn't in the episode because of Conrad's mindset. Which, nah. That's what Russell wanted to do, sure. I generally can't look at these characters and actually think, oh, these are characters that I understand, that are fully fledged, that I can understand where their journeys have gone. What's their arc? What was Shooty's arc as the Doctor from the beginning to the end? I don't think anybody can name it. And there'll be people who try, but they won't be right. No, they won't be. I just... If Jay's just tweeted, if it weren't for Russell, the show wouldn't even be on right now, in quotes, and then said, okay. Oh, hi. Oh, man. Oh, man. Belinda's character actually might be one of the worst companions. The only difference that she has is that the actress is actually, like, good at acting. Yaz's problem that I think Mandipule, bless her, she wasn't the best actress, unfortunately. She wasn't that great. Was he the first Doctor to say he loves a companion? No, 14 said that he loved Donna. Absolutely. Well, if you want to say I love you in that specific way, then yes. If that's what you mean. 15 said I love you to Belinda. That was so weird. This whole they have a child together thing was so weird and out of nowhere. No build-up of that whatsoever, man. I'm just so perplexed. Again, I want to reiterate and get it across that the reason Shooty regenerated is because he wanted to bring Poppy into existence. Even though Poppy did already exist. She already existed in Space Babies and then was made up because of their memory. She wasn't real, yet the whole ending hinged on her to get you to regenerate. You could have just had someone shoot Shooty, and that would have been a better ending and made sense. What were you, Russell? What were you thinking? What was your actual mindset to think this was a good idea? What the hell? I'm just like, why? I don't get it. Duh, man, what a disaster. What a disaster. Must say, when I did we scream at the telly. As someone who doesn't like the Chibnall era, like a lot, I hate it. I despise the Chibnall era. I always say this. I feel really bad for Jodie for how her Doctor was written really poorly. She deserved better because she's a capable actress, and the characterization just didn't suit her. I was happy for her to come back on screen, but that's as far as it goes. Like I still don't care about the 13th Doctor's character. So. Did you think that's a bad? Was she wearing a wig? I didn't think she was wearing a wig. I just could tell that she was like slightly older, even though it's only been 3 years. I don't get how people were liking the story. It was like a fucking garbled mess. Man. Feels like the show isn't ever going to be taken seriously again. At the very least for a long time. I actually saw a tweet that this show is desperate for a Tony Gilroy to come in and actually take this show seriously. I can't remember. The show generally doesn't feel like it's been taken seriously in like almost a full decade. The closest was Series 10, because Series 10 is like really good series, but obviously it's not perfect. That was the last time I felt like Doctor Who was taken seriously, and that was 8 years ago. That was 8 years ago. Since Series 10, it has just been on a downward decline. But it was already on a downward decline for me since the end of Series 5, since 2010. If you don't know, the only series that in Doctor Who I would say are good is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10. There are good episodes in every season before the end of Series 10, but the series I didn't mention, I think, are pretty pants overall. But since then, Series 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, being season 1 and 2 of the Disney era. Really slim pickings of things to like. Really slim pickings. For the Chibnall era, Haunting of Villa Villa Dati, that was a good episode, kind of. Had issues, but it felt like the only episode in Chibnall's era that actually felt like, ooh, this is what this era could be. If you just work on a couple of these issues, that's a story that feels like it has something to say and something to do, something interesting to go through. More of that would have been great, but we never did. Everything else was horrendous. This era gave us Wild Blue Yonder. I want everyone to know this, and I want to stress this. Wild Blue Yonder sold us dreams. Because Wild Blue Yonder was actually a really good episode. With Tennant and Catherine for the 60th. Their episode is great. maybe great is a strong word, but it's really good. It's a really good episode. And that was the peak of this era. Everything else has either been average, with things that I like, I'm not speaking for everybody, to some really bad Doctor Who. This season has felt, to me, I'm so confused. I'm guess one of the few people that have said this season has felt worse than last season. There's not a single episode that I've enjoyed fully. Lux is the closest, because that first half was generally quite interesting, quite decent. This season has just felt like an absolute mess. It is such a mess. I don't understand the love. Just, man. The Well was my favourite from this season. I didn't like The Well. I think The Well was pretty naff, unfortunately. I don't know where this show goes from here. I really don't. I'm assuming we're not going to get any more Doctor Who until like either the end of 2026 or early 2027. So I don't think we're going to get any Doctor Who for at least a year and a half, at the very least. Obviously, we've got the war between the land and the sea to come. I have no faith that will be good, because that's written by Russell and Pete McTee. I can never pronounce his surname. Like, you're only as good as your last story, and this, I have no faith that'll be good. I have none. I probably might not even watch. I don't know if I will or not. I don't even know if I'll watch the next season of Doctor Who, genuinely. There's the first time since 2012 when I was a fucking kid back then, so like I didn't care. I generally might not watch next season. Generally might not. And there's been people who are like, well, if you don't enjoy the era, why are you watching? It's like, you know what, maybe you have a point. Why would I watch a show that has bad episode every single week? That has like abysmal writing and characters I don't care about. Why would I watch that? Because it's quite funny how a lot of Doctor Who fans, in comments and reactions to my videos, and just sort of anybody who criticises any sort of era of, really of any show, will say, well, why do you stop watching? When a lot of the talk around Doctor Who right now is like its viewerships and how low it is. I don't get why people want to force people out when they criticise the show. Anyway, generally might not watch next season, because you need to build faith that you're going to be delivering like good stories and like consistently well told material. And at the moment, we're not getting that. At the moment, it's just it's drizzle. It's absolute drizzle. I don't get why this is the idea he went with. I don't get it. Even just ignoring the regeneration part of it. These two seasons as an entity. How are people going to go back and watch this era? If the show goes on ahead for a while, they need to rechange a few things about the show when they return. A good start would be having Russell less involved in the writing of the show. If you would have told me 2 years ago that by the end of season 2, you will want Russell out or Russell to leave, and you're just waiting for him to leave so the show can move on, I would have fucking called you crazy. Really would have. Because when Russell was announced to come back, oh my god, guys, generally one of the best days of my life, Russell being announced coming back as showrunner. I was so excited. You can go and watch the EDAR stream I did with Connor when Russell was announced coming back. You can go and watch the reaction that me and friends did to the Sontaran and Stratagem two-parter. I know obviously that wasn't written by Russell, and that was written by someone who's not a good person. But the idea was, we're going to get characters back. Look at the character level, the level of character we had with Rose, Martha, Donna, Wilf, Jack, Jackie, Mickey, Sarah Jane. Excellent characters. Generally, some amazing characters. Can I name a single good character from this era? I really can't. I generally can't. Ruby's not a good character. From how, and she's massively overrated. Belinda's not a good character. Kate's not a good character. Shirley's not a good character. Rose is not a good character because she's hardly fucking in it. She's not really in the show at all. And I don't think we're ever going to see her again. I don't think we'll ever see her again. I don't think. I'd be surprised. I'm just really disappointed. I'm very disappointed. When I thought we were going to get character drama, not exactly the same as the original run, but character drama, characters, stories are generally interesting with some very interesting ideas. Coherency, consistency, all of that was in the original run with Russell. We've had none of that. We've had absolutely none of that. And I am just so perplexed on what his thought process was. Are people generally in that writing room telling him, I think this idea is a bit weird and crazy and doesn't really suit what the show is about. Maybe we do something else. Or has he just generally lost his touch when it comes to this show? Maybe. It's totally possible. It happens. It happens to writers. Great writers can lose their shit when it comes to writing stories. It happens, and it's not a massive big deal. The world will keep on turning, but at the end of the day, the Doctor Who as a show, in this singular moment in time, I can't describe it any more other than just it's a clown show. What else can you say that would sum it up more? It's a fucking clown show for cameos, hype moments, trying to get you excited to watch the next episode. Yeah. It's funny when all of the clips of Eccleston going sack everybody. It's just like they're wrong. I never call people to be sacked from their jobs because obviously people should deserve to work jobs, all that jazz. The day he goes, I will be happy, but then we'll have to hope the next showrunner, as long as the show keeps going, hopefully, in some capacity. Like I mentioned earlier with the tweet I saw, this show is desperate for its Tony Gilroy. It's desperate for that, and all we can do is sit and hope. And hell, maybe Russell turns it a fucking round and actually redrafts and thinks about his stories and doesn't go fucking insane. This is a sad indictment. Oh my word. I need to get this on screen. This is actually quite important. Have a look at this. Just come from Doinker Decked. Just literally just saw this. Look at that. Not a single Dalek, not a single Cyberman, not even the Master. That is crazy. This is crazy. How does that happen? How? And I think it's man, I'm just so perplexed. How did we get here? Chibnall who did irreparable damage to the show, and it's just been continued on, uh, in even stranger ways. Generally feels like the three were bringing, having the show held hostage by them. Kind of feels like that in a strange way. It needs a new release on live, fresh chat with someone not connected to any of them. Yeah, it does. I think that's more clear than ever now. Russell coming back wasn't exciting because it's someone who's coming back who's wrote the show before, because he was a fucking good writer. He wrote Years and Years and It's a Sin recently, literally years ago, not that long ago. It's a Sin came out like what, 4 years ago? Years and Years came like what, 2018? He's written some really good shows recently, before and after Doctor Who. And you know what will happen? He'll leave the show and somehow he'll write a good show again, and we'll be all confused about what actually happened. We'll be all so confused. So yeah, to sum up the episode, hmm. What a fucking disaster. What a disaster, everyone. Doctor Who. Absolute travesty. I generally don't know where the show goes from here. Obviously, again, the spin-off coming out this year. Is it this year? Was it next year? I forget. The War Between the Land and Sea. When does that come out? $2025 does come out this year. That's going to be awful. I have a very strong feeling that's going to be awful. If that is somehow good, I'll actually be more annoyed if that's good, because sure, good story in Doctor Who, great, but at the same time, the actual show has suffered massively, and like, don't know, man. This show used to be so good. This show used to like. Crazy. Anyway, I think that's me done. I kind of just wanted to vent and just sort of just like bitch about it. I'm going to keep this up for a while. Maybe I'll just leave this up so people will watch it. It's this yeah. Doctor Who, everyone. Yeah. What 2 seasons, eh? Fantastic. Just so good. Man. I will get out of your hairs. Cheers for watching the stream, everyone. This little 45-minute stream, just to sort of rant and vent. Kind of needed to do that quickly. Reaction will be up in the next day or so. If I'm being honest, it probably is going to be Monday. If I can get it out on Sunday evening, then that will be good. But we'll have to wait and see. It is filmed. I've just been busy. So yeah. Thank you for watching the stream, everyone. Doctor Who is it is what it is. But yeah. Cheers, everyone. Bye bye.